Good morning. Want to get up to speed on today's most important stories in just a few minutes? From big moves in the crypto market to new contenders for Fed chair and even military deployments in Los Angeles, we've got it all. But make sure you stay until the end. We'll reveal the latest on the ongoing tension between the US and China and why it matters for everyone. Let's dive into today's top news. Let's take a closer look at Ether's recent surge and what's driving market optimism. Ether soared past $2,700 on June 10th, marking a significant rally fueled by strong trading volume and renewed bullish sentiment. The cryptocurrency jumped 6.54% to reach 2,144.87, moving over 560,000 coins in transactions valued at approximately $151 billion. This upward move comes after ETH began the previous 24-hour session near 2,976, briefly dipped to $2,060 during light trading, and then experienced a sharp increase in buying interest around 21 WAR UTC on June 9th. A second wave of demand before 11 HOUD UTC on June 10th pushed Ether through the $2,700 barrier, hitting a high of $2,183. Market analysts from QCP Capital believe macroeconomic factors are setting the stage for further gains, with projections that Ether could rise toward $4,000 and beyond. Social media sentiment has also turned positive, with one popular trader describing the current momentum as beast mode, noting that Ether has overcome key resistance levels at $1,500 and $2,200. Industry leaders highlight Ethereum's growing role in global finance. Joseph Lubin, founder of Consensus, recently emphasized Ethereum's position as a continuous settlement layer, processing more than $25 trillion in transactions last year. Lubin also pointed to new investment activity, such as a $425 million private placement into SharpLink Gaming, aimed at connecting traditional investors with opportunities in decentralized finance. QCP Capital's latest market note cites several factors supporting Ether's outlook, including progress on the Genius Act, increased attention on Circle's IPO, and greater regulatory clarity for stablecoins. These developments may drive further structural growth for Ethereum's tokenization and settlement capabilities. On-chain data supports this bullish perspective. Staked Ether has reached a record 34.65 million tokens, locking up nearly 29% of total supply and potentially strengthening support around the $2,120 level. From a technical standpoint, Ether staged two major breakouts, first above $2,600 on June 9th, then above $2,700 on June 10th. The chart shows a pattern of higher lows and highs, signaling a strong uptrend from $2,162 to $2,783. Immediate resistance is seen near $2,796, while a double bottom between $2,720 and $2,740 may provide a base for consolidation before any further moves higher. Let's check the latest on the search for the next Federal Reserve chair. Support is building for Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent as a possible successor to Jerome Powell, whose term ends in May 2026. President Trump says he'll announce a replacement very soon. The shortlist reportedly includes Kevin Warsh, a former Fed official. Sources say Bessent, who leads efforts to boost the U.S. economy through changes in trade and regulation, has become a top contender. Formal interviews haven't started yet. When asked, Bessent said, "I have the best job in Washington. The president will decide who's best for the economy and the American people."
We face the
A senior
stark reality
administration
of
official
large
disputed
and
some reports
persistent
about the
U.S.
process,
deficits
but gave
as
no
a
further
result
details.
of an unfair
Traditionally, the
trading
Treasury
system.
Secretary helps search for Fed chair
Intentional
candidates,
policy
though
choices
it's
by other
unclear if
countries
Bessent would recuse
have hollowed
himself.
out America's
Tim Adams,
manufacturing
head of the
sector
Institute of
and
International
undermined our
Finance,
critical
called Bessent
supply
an obvious
chains,
candidate with strong
putting
global
our
credentials,
national
but
and
also a dark
economic
horse.
security at
He noted
risk.
that Warsh, who served on the
President
Fed board from
Trump has taken
2006 to
strong actions
2011,
to address
would
these
also be a solid
imbalances
choice.
and the negative
Trump described
impacts they
Warsh as
have on
very
Americans.
highly thought of.
The status
Bessent has
quo
played a central
of
role in
large
U.S.-China
and
trade
persistent
talks,
imbalances
seen as a major
is not
achievement for the
sustainable.
administration.
It is not
Steve
sustainable
Bannon,
for the United
former White House
States,
strategist,
and ultimately
praised
it is
Bessent's
not
ability to
sustainable
implement the
for other
president's agenda.
economies. China's
Trump, who
current
first
economic
nominated
model
Powell in
is built on
2017,
exporting its
has
way
often
out of this
criticized him for
economic
being
troubles.
slow to cut interest
It's an
rates.
unsustainable
In
model
2025,
that is not only
Powell and
harming
other
China,
Fed officials
but
have
the
kept
entire
rates steady,
world.
citing
China
uncertainty
needs
from
to
new
change.
tariffs. Whoever is
country
confirmed by the
knows
Senate
it
must
needs
show
to
the Fed's
change.
independence from
Everyone
political
knows
influence.
it needs to change.
Other names mentioned
and
include
we want
Kevin
to help it
Hassett,
change
Christopher Waller,
because
and David
we need
Malpass.
rebalance.
Now let's turn to Los Angeles, where tensions are rising after the deployment of Marines during ongoing immigration raids. Marines sent by President Trump have arrived in L.A. to protect federal property as anti-deportation protests continue. According to U.S. Northern Command, 700 troops from the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines joined about 200 National Guard members already stationed nearby, including in Paramount and Compton. Exact locations were not disclosed. General Eric Smith told Congress that these Marines are trained in crowd control and equipped with shields and batons, but do not have arrest authority. Their mission is to support law enforcement, not replace it. The military presence follows 4 nights of clashes between police and demonstrators protesting aggressive ICE raids. While daytime protests have mostly been peaceful, some escalated into confrontations involving less lethal ammunition and thrown objects. Recent demonstrations included violence, property damage, looting, blocked freeways, and burned vehicles. Since the weekend, over 150 people have been arrested on charges like failing to disperse, assault, resisting arrest, and vandalism. National Guard troops have focused on guarding federal buildings, while most clashes involve local police and protesters. President Trump and California Governor Gavin Newsom have clashed over the response. The state has sued the administration for deploying the National Guard and Marines, with Newsom criticizing the lack of coordination. Trump says forces will remain until there's no danger and may invoke the Insurrection Act if needed. Immigration raids are expected to continue daily for at least 30 days. Protests have spread beyond LA to cities like New York, San Francisco, Chicago, and Washington. California officials have asked a judge to limit the military's role, arguing the deployment threatens state sovereignty and could escalate tensions further. Let's now turn to the latest developments in U.S.-China trade relations. U.S. and Chinese officials have reached a preliminary agreement to ease trade tensions between the world's 2 largest economies. Negotiators met in London and agreed on a framework to implement consensus from earlier talks in Geneva. China's chief trade negotiator, Li Qinggang, said both sides will present the proposal to their leaders for approval. While full details are not public, U.S. negotiators believe issues around rare earth minerals and magnets will be resolved under the new plan. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick stated that once the presidents approve the deal, implementation will begin. The discussions lasted nearly 20 hours over 2 days. U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer noted no further meetings are scheduled, but emphasized ongoing communication. Talks were prompted by concerns over China's restrictions on rare earth exports, which are vital for advanced manufacturing. Last month, the U.S. imposed new export controls on chip design software, jet engine parts, chemicals, and nuclear materials in response. U.S. officials indicated some restrictions may be lifted if China eases its limits. After a call between President Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping, senior U.S. officials traveled to London to break the deadlock. Both sides hope this progress will help rebuild trust after months of tariffs and trade barriers. China's exports to the U.S. fell sharply in May, showing the impact of disputes. Financial markets responded calmly, with only minor changes in currency and equity prices. Analysts say next steps depend on approval from both presidents. While the agreement signals more cooperation, challenges remain, especially over access to key technologies and resources. For now, global markets await further news as U.S.-China trade talks continue. Before you go, tell us, what's your take on today's news? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful. You're watching Finance Daily Reports, your source for global finance and politics. See you soon and have a nice day.